Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where our Mauler has gotten a little bit mauled. We definitely need to back off with it. And we don't get to move for a little bit yet. So our Fafnir is going to sprint up over this way. We are, of course, needing to eliminate several enemy mechs up here. There are 7 remaining. We have already eliminated 5. So we're going to move up with our Fafnir. We're out of range, so not a whole lot to be done. I'm assuming they're going to fire on the Mauler here. We need to start thinking about if we're going to eject the Mauler. The Atlas moves up, goes for the Mauler. Structure exposure as expected. Does it get a crit there? The game froze in a really awkward place, but okay. So yeah, the Mauler is getting hit extraordinarily hard. The Mauler gets to move soon, but the Annihilator moves first. And they actually have 2 movers before the Mauler gets to move. This is actually really bad that the Mauler moves this late. We're going to sprint the Annihilator up over here, but it's not going to fix the problem. Not going to fix the problem at all. Who have they not moved yet? Who do they move in this round? They move their Gertrude here. And they move their Madcap Mark II. Both of those are extraordinarily problematic for us. We have to move the Mauler, but we can't move the Mauler. The Mauler might just die here. We'll see. We might get lucky, or we might not. I think we're going to go for the Highlander here. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, we'll see what they do. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt a lot. They've been focusing really hard on that Mauler, and they've been hitting almost everything. I thought we were in cover, but we weren't, and they're really punishing it. Good on the AI. Oh, going for the awesome? A through armor on the hip destruction, but that's okay. I would prefer that. So, here's the question. Do we try to pull back the Mauler, or do we eject it? We've got that Gauss Sniper FCS. That'll be interesting to try to replace, but I think we're just going to eject the Mauler. I don't want it to take additional damage. It was my own fault for placing it here. I was under the impression, because this tree was here, that it was a forest tile, but it is not. So that's my own fault. We will eject the Mauler. So that's that cockpit destroyed. We lose the Gauss FCS Sniper. Hopefully we'll be able to replace that. So the Bull Shark is going to fire on somebody, and it looks like our best bet is actually the Gertrude at this time.
Target locked.
A good hit. Now that laser AMS on the Apollo is becoming a big problem for us. The Salamander is going to sprint up this way. We want its left side exposed. Like so.
On it.
And we're going to vigilance it as well. It's out of cover, and I don't want it to be having any issues. We're going to Warlord, and we're going to fire our improved MRM-40s at this Asura. Hit odds aren't great, but we'll see what we get. Wow, that range on that laser AMS. Okay, we gotta take care of that. The Madcap Mark II moves up into cover, and the Apollo is 35%. Oh, there's actually a mech rider on this Gertrude. Okay. So hit odds are largely identical across the board. They're best on the Gertrude. So I guess we'll hit that. Fire. We're going to run out of ammo with the Madcap Mark II soon enough. But that's okay. That Highlander moves up, goes for the Annihilator now. The Annihilator's not in cover either.
Light damage. Holding firm.
But we should be okay for the moment. The Awesome is going to move up.
Acknowledged.
And 24.8, 27.5, 46. It's got to be the Gertrude. Okay. Man, that AMS is doing a lot of work. But we just can't really hit the Apollo right now. The Boar's Head is still looking for a good target for artillery. These guys are a little spread out at this point. So honestly, I think it's their 2 Atlases up here. This Atlas hasn't moved yet, so we'll go ahead and hit that one.
Roger that.
And then they AMS'd the Arrow 4. Sure. We gotta deal with this Apollo. The Boar's Head moves up, goes for our Salamander. Doesn't get very much done. Okay.
Now that was a heavy hit.
It wasn't that heavy. Okay.
Commander.
So our Salamander wants to continue moving up over this way, although we'd like to have it be a little cautiously. We're going to move up like so, and we are once again going to Vigilance. And I want to hit this Rakshasa, but we actually can't. 30% and 37 means that our best bet is to hit this Atlas. And we'll get a little armor strip off of that. Actually, that was quite a bit of armor removed. I like it. So, phase 26. That's the Rakshasa. Going for the Fafnir, but totally missing. I like it. And then moving up into the water. The Apollo moves up as well, and doesn't fire.
Commander.
Fascinating. The Fafnir is going to start sprinting up towards this water. We could fire on the Rakshasa, 15.6, or the Apollo, 28.1. We're going to hit the Apollo here.
Engage.
Of course, it's going to shoot down most of those missiles with its laser AMS that's been doing so much work. The Gertrude fires on the Annihilator, misses its Gauss. That's solid. We're very happy about that. Okay. The Atlas moves up, goes for the Salamander, hits almost everything, which is sad. We're going to be withdrawing the Salamander over this way pretty soon. That's the next goal there. Okay, they're shooting at the Awesome there. Getting one Gauss hit.
That shot just grazed me.
And the Madcat Mark II closes in over here. These guys are still fairly spread out for artillery,
Aye, aye.
so that's okay. The Annihilator is going to move up into this cover. We can go for the Boar's Head, the Rakshasa. The Apollo is actually solid hit odds, and I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit this Apollo as hard as we can. But with that laser AMS, it does manage to defend itself pretty well.
I'm black on AC-10 ammo. Right here.
Okay, the Boar's Head is going to... Who are we going to shoot at this point? Like, what are our best hit odds? Or rather, our best splash damage options for our artillery? They're fairly spread out. The AI has done a good job of that. I think the Gertrude might still be our best bet because it does have that battle armor on it still. And this will probably destroy that battle armor.
Locking in target.
And they shot down the Arrow 4 again with their
Awaiting
AMS, of course. So, did we eliminate that battle armor? No, we didn't. Let's try it again.
Give it a shot.
There we go. Now the battle armor is out of here. Okay.
Ready for orders.
So the Madcat Mark II is going to move up into this cover here.
On the move.
And who are we best off to fire on? Probably the Apollo. Actually, the Gertrude. Now we're going to get AMS'd heavily here again. We're still hitting the battle armor, even though it was destroyed. We got an Engine XL crit there, so now we know that the Gertrude is running an Engine XL. Okay. Boar's Head closes in. Shoots at the Salamander with a UAC-20 there. And gets some internal damage with its LRM.
I'm here.
It's slightly problematic, to be sure. The Awesome will move up. 30%, 27. These are not good odds. I think we're going to go for the Gertrude. But yeah, we failed our sensor roll, so not a lot to be done here. Battle armor damaged again.
Take that.
That Apollo is definitely a big problem. Their Highlander moves up, fires at our Annihilator. It is in cover now. So it gets a 20% damage reduction. But that's who they're focusing at this point.
Commander.
Well, that and the Salamander. I think we're probably going to sprint the Salamander backwards here. I don't really want to be rear arc here. We could be side arc. This would be the right side facing them, which would be the weak side. It's risky. But we're going to position it here. We're going to Vigilance again. And we're going to fire on that Apollo. He's going to AMS it, but we will overwhelm it to some degree. Okay. Now, the Salamander's in a lot of danger here. We'll see what they do. They're shooting at the Awesome. We're okay with this. They did get a head hit there. That's okay, though.
Minimal damage on that hit.
What else do they have? So that's an ace pilot. Sure. Phase 25, that's going to be the Apollo. The Apollo moves up, goes for the Awesome as well. Get some Inferno missiles in there. That's a little annoying, to be sure. Okay, that Atlas moves up, goes for the Salamander, as expected. Doesn't break through the armor yet. We got a little lucky there.
Yes, Commander.
The Fafnir is going to close in here, and we're going to sprint it. Close in as much as possible. The Apollo, our hit odds are not fantastic on, but we're going to take them. Missed virtually everything there. That's very sad.
Standing by.
The Annihilator is going to break out of cover, I think, and come up here. Now, I would like to Vigilance it as well, and so we shall. And then we're going to fire on this Apollo, I think. Yeah, we're going to fire on the Apollo here. These are only slug rounds, but we should get some damage done on it.
Confirmed.
I hope. More like I wish. That wasn't very much damage at all. The Caesar moves in, goes for the Annihilator, as expected. We are braced. So we take less damage, and the Annihilator is a bit of a juggernaut. So it should be okay for the moment. The Bull Shark is, at this point, going to fire on the Caesar. These are clustered together, so we'll get some splash damage here.
Affirmative.
Man, that laser AMS is doing so much work. The Madcap Mark II is going to move up over here. We're out of HA-20 rounds. 51.3, 26.4. The Madcap Mark II is going to be fully out of ammo very shortly here. For now, we're just going to lob LRMs at the Apollo. It's going to AMS some of them, but we got to get through that armor.
Target acquired.
Okay. That laser AMS is really doing work right now. Missing on the Awesome there. Interesting choice. Certainly not one I would have gone for. Okay.
Standing by.
So the Boar's Head at this point is going to continue to hit this Caesar. It's got to die eventually, right? Eventually.
Copy.
And they AMS'd the Arrow 4. They've done that like 3 times in a row. That's unfortunate. They're doing such a good job with that laser AMS. And we're having a really hard time hitting it. We're trying,
Ready for
but we're also kind of failing. Okay, well, did we fail our sensor roll here again? No, just ECM shield. Okay, sure. We'll not fire this ER medium laser, and we'll see what we get.
Confirmed. Firing.
Not a lot of damage there, but that
Watch those
Apollo
details.
has such little armor left. Like, we've got to get through that at some point. Going for the Fafnir as opposed to the Salamander, I love it. That's lucky for us.
Light damage, Commander. Let's hit him hard.
Okay.
Standing by.
Next up is our Salamander. I want to move the Salamander down over, like, this way. It's still in LOS, right? Maybe we should just withdraw it for the moment. Try to sprint it back over this way.
Roger that.
Rear arc means that bracing is irrelevant here. Okay. They're probably going to go for the Salamander pretty hard here. Actually, they're going for the Awesome. Okay. So when does the Apollo move? Phase 26. The Rakshasa moves up. The Gertrude is still kicking. And it goes for the Annihilator, as expected. We're having a really hard time breaking this formation. There's no doubt about it, but they're getting very close to broken. So that Atlas moves up, goes for the Fafnir. Okay, cool. They don't seem that interested in going for the Salamander. Which is exactly what we want,
Aye, aye.
is them not to go for the Salamander. The Annihilator is going to move up here, and we're going to hit this Apollo, but not before we Vigilance it. And we could kill this Apollo here. These hit odds are starting to get good. Structure exposure there, hip destruction, means that Apollo is now finally unsteady. The Boar's Head moves up, the second Boar's Head, goes for the Annihilator. Doesn't get very much done. I like it.
Damage minimal.
And our AMS does some work as well. They're really focusing on that awesome, and I don't understand why. It's not very threatening to them. But okay. The Madcap moves up. These guys are now somewhat clustered together as well. The Highlander has moved from that position, though. Misses its Gauss rifle. I love it. Okay.
Standing by.
The Fafnir is going to close in up over this way.
On it.
For now, I'm reasonably content with the situation of the Fafnir. We're going to fire on this Apollo. And just ECM shield. Okay.
Firing full shot.
We hit almost nothing there. We did get a head hit,
Reporting. Critical hit.
but that's basically it.
Orders.
Okay, the Awesome's going to stay put. And I'm even going to Vigilance it because they've been focusing it pretty hard. And we're going to look at... Wait a second. These hit odds were much better a moment ago. Okay. Well, we're just going to fire on the Apollo here.
Attacking from position.
LRM Deadfire ammo explosion there.
Report.
Means that the Apollo finally got knocked down. Okay. The Apollo's out of here at long
Awaiting
last.
orders.
So the Bull Shark is now going to hit... I think we're still going to hit this Gertrude. But now that the LRMs can actually go in, I do expect the Gertrude to die here. That was very close.
Scored.
And he ejects. Okay, perfect. So what do they have left? They've got these 5 plus this guy.
Standing by.
So the Madcap Mark II is going to run out of ammo after this round. We need to start it running up as kind of a distraction. And who do we want it to fire its last round of LRMs at? Hit odds are best on the Madcap Mark II. Okay.
I copy.
Well, we got some armor stripped off there.
I'm out of long-range missiles.
Indeed you are.
Right here.
So at this point, the Boar's Head can fire at whomever we want, really. And I think the answer there is the Madcap. It's the most likely to cause splash damage, I think. And this LRM would overheat us slightly, but we'll accept that.
Affirmative.
Cool.
The heat's affecting my performance.
So phase 25 is going to be the Rakshasa. And he goes for the awesome. He misses. I like it. That's very solid. So we're finally breaking this formation.
Commander.
Our Annihilator is going to continue to close in.
Confirmed.
And we'll Vigilance it. We could fire on any of the enemy mechs. The Boar's Head is pretty good in terms of hit odds, actually. Slightly better than the Madcap Mark II, but the Madcap Mark II would get knocked down from this shot. Whereas the Boar's Head absolutely would not. Let's go ahead and hit the Madcap Mark II.
Roger that.
There we go. We see an engine crit there, which is a huge deal. And that's a knockdown, which reserves him back to phase 18. So in phase 22, this Atlas moves, fires at the Annihilator. The Annihilator's armor is getting low,
Reporting heavy damage.
but we're doing okay for the moment.
Receiving you.
Now, our Salamander could, at this point, turn around and come up over here. This would be front arc, and we don't have enough morale to Vigilance it. So if we do this, we're risking an MRM-40. We do have multiple
Roger that.
ready
No
to go.
shooting, just running.
And we're going to fire on this Boar's Head with AX ammo, which we've still got some of. Let's do this. A good armor strip there. The Madcat Mark II gets up. And let's see what it does. Shoots at the Awesome. Okay, cool. The Awesome is as defended as it's going to get. And then he ace pilots over to there. Fascinating. So the Madcat Mark II is pretty killable. This Boar's Head is going to move up. It goes for the Fafnir. Fascinating. I would have definitely chosen the Salamander.
Minor, Commander.
Absolutely chosen the Salamander there. The Fafnir is going to move up. And 37% is probably the best that we're going to see. Yes. One of our AC-20s is jammed right now. It's to be expected.
Target.
Oh, we hit both of those and got a structure exposure on that boar's head. That's actually really good. It's in the leg, which isn't the best. But the Highlander goes for the Fafnir. That's okay. The Fafnir can take this damage for the moment. Okay.
Standing by.
The Awesome is going to fire on... We've only got 20 rounds, so this is the last firing of the LRM. We don't really have the hit odds for the Madcat, so I think we're just going to go for the Boar's Head and do as much damage as possible.
Firing.
Oh! LRM ammo explosion into a dead Boar's Head.
Mech
That was
destroyed.
really good. So the Rakshasa is still a bit of a problem for us. The Madcat Mark II is going to die very soon.
Standing by.
The Boar's Head is going to look for the kill on that, I think. Without firing the Arrow 4.
Here we go.
Not a whole lot into the exposed structure there. That's a little sad.
Aye, aye.
The Madcat Mark II is, of course, out of ammo, and that is going to start sprinting forward. That is the weakness of the Madcat
Standing
Mark II.
by.
The Bull Shark is going to finish off this Madcat Mark II of theirs, if we can. I think we can.
We'll go.
They not running an XL engine? Well, whatever. They ejected. So we're good. Okay, so they've got the Highlander, they've got the Atlas, and they've got the Rakshasa. That's what they have left. They're shooting at our Awesome still.
Damn it.
As expected.
Oh, I'm wounded.
Yeah, that's another head hit there. That's actually pretty unfortunate. The Rakshasa moves up.
Yes, Commander.
Our Annihilator is going to take this
Moving out.
position here. And who do we go for? Hit odds are not great across the board. But they're by far best on this Highlander. So we'll Warlord, and we'll hit the Highlander. We may kill the Highlander depending on what's in this torso. If we hit that
Firing on
torso, I
target.
suppose. So there's a structure exposure. It's running an engine XL. Okay,
Reporting
good to know.
critical hit.
So that Highlander is now extremely vulnerable. The Atlas goes for the Fafnir. Fairly expected. Hits it pretty hard there, but that's fine.
Good to
Now,
go.
our Salamander is going to close in over here. The Salamander is still in danger. We're going to Vigilance it. And we're going to fire probably on the Rakshasa, although hit odds are better on this Atlas. We can fire AX, and we're going to do so.
Roger
This will be a
that.
decent
Target
armor
confirmed.
strip on this Atlas. A few hundred points of armor coming off.
I am out of SRMs.
Well, that type of them anyway. So now the Highlander moves. It backs off a little bit and goes for the Annihilator and misses. Sounds good. Okay.
Waiting for orders.
So the Fafnir is going to close in over here.
Affirmative.
They've definitely done a lot of damage to these two torsos. And we're fairly out of range right now. We can't really hit the Rakshasa. Yeah, that stealth is rough. We could give it a go. Maybe we get lucky.
Acknowledge.
We did hit one of those, which was actually pretty lucky, and we made him unsteady.
Commander.
The Awesome is going to continue firing. On what? Probably the Highlander. Now, we've got a lot of heat buildup, but that's okay.
Confirmed.
Yeah, no hits there. Okay.
Commander.
The Bull Shark is, at this point, going to look to finish off the Highlander.
Confirmed.
Not a great long tom shot there. LRM's doing okay, but really not
Target's
amazingly.
taking a critical hit.
Orders.
The Madcat Mark II is going to sprint on forward. It doesn't get very far here, but it'll sprint up to here.
Full speed.
Okay.
Yes, Commander.
The Boar's Head is now going to look to finish the job on this Highlander. We want this thing dead. That's a solid hit. Oh, it's not dead. Maybe from the knockdown, although it doesn't get knocked down. Okay. It's so close. It is so close.
Commander.
So the Salamander is going to close in over this way. Actually, we're going to reserve the Salamander because we can't re-up that vigilance. So let's see what they do with the Rakshasa. The Fafnir's torsos have taken the majority of the beating. It goes for the awesome. It gets a structure exposure there.
Reporting. Critical hit.
And where is that? In this torso? Okay. So the Rakshasa moves up. And now the Atlas moves in. Probably also goes for the awesome? No, it goes for the Fafnir. Once again, hitting that torso pretty hard. They're getting lucky with where they're hitting that, but for now, the Fafnir is still okay.
Yes.
Now the Salamander is going to close in over here. And we're going to hit this Rakshasa as hard as we possibly can. Which is reasonably hard.
Confirmed.
We got a structure exposure on it, and actually, it's gone. Amazing. I was not expecting a kill there, but that's fine. The Highlander moves up, fires at the Salamander. It's dangerous, but it misses. It does not hit the Salamander. Cool.
Aye, aye.
The Annihilator is going to move up to here, and we're going to look to annihilate the Highlander. This should be a kill here. Absolutely. No way around it.
Engaging target.
Even with both slugs missing. An engine crit, but not a destruction.
Reporting
Sad.
critical hit. All out of
We are reliant on those crits. So the Fafnir is going to move up.
Coordinates received.
It could fire on the Atlas, or it could fire on the Highlander. Now, hit odds are far better on the Atlas, so we're going to pot shot that.
Copy.
We did get a UAC 20 hit on him, and that's a structure exposure.
Ready for orders.
The Awesome is going to look for a kill on the Highlander. It's probably not going to see one.
Locking on target.
And actually it does. That's the Highlander gone.
Tango down.
Just the Atlas left, and honestly this Atlas is not going to last too long. So the Madcat Mark II is still closing in. That's fine.
Standing
The
by.
Boar's Head is going to go ahead and drop all the artillery we've got on this Atlas. I'm not going to fire the LRMs due to heat, but we're going to drop artillery on this guy. And actually, that's an LRM ammo explosion, and the Atlas is just dead.
Enemy
Okay,
down.
that's amazing. So, things could have gone a little better there for us, for sure. If I had noticed that the Mauler position was not in cover, that would have definitely been an improvement. That was my own fault. 100%. They never called in an airstrike, which was good for us. An airstrike actually would have hurt a lot there. No doubt about it. But overall, that could have been a lot worse. We did lose our Gauss Sniper FCS. We lost a lot of armor on our Fafnir. I think we lost a couple of double heat sinks on the Awesome. Yeah. That's not the end of the world. They want Azura. Sure, you can have it. I don't care about that. That's completely fine. Okay, so what do we want from that? We only have one priority salvage. I mean, that's the AMS Mark II. I would be interested in the AMS that was on that Apollo. Gauss Rifle Blackwell. There's a sheathed beacon there, an armored cowl. I mean, an FCS to replace the one that we lost wouldn't be bad. An Exchanger plus plus. That's pretty good. We're going to take that for now, unless we see anything amazing. But I think that's what we were going to be taking. Yes, for sure. We're going to drop the PPC Defiance. We don't need it. We've got 4. LRM-10 Zeus. Pass. Okay, so salvage-wise, that wasn't the greatest, but we knew it wouldn't be. We're going to have some repairs to do. That's for sure. Some major repairs. Now, we didn't take anything too huge, right? We didn't have, like, any engine destructions or anything like that. But this is still going to be pretty lengthy on the repair front. Absolutely. And how are we going to replace that Gauss Sniper FCS? That's the question. We definitely got lucky that they didn't focus the Salamander harder. If they had, that would have been a big problem. It was a little unlucky that we lost the 2 double heat sinks in the Awesome right at the end, but whatever. They were getting good luck with getting the shots where they needed them from a very long range, so it's fine. Whatever. This is going to be pretty spendy to repair. The more painful part is going to be how long it's going to take to repair. But let's see what we've got. 750,099 days. Go ahead and do that. We are going to need to do a manual refit on several mechs. And that's going to be on the Mauler, on the Awesome, and on the Salamander. So those 3 are going to need manual refits. Let's go ahead and hop into the mech bay and get those done before I forget. Come on, mech bay. You can do it. Any moment now, mech bay. There we go. Sometimes RogueTech doesn't like opening the mech bay. But we're just going to go ahead and select the Mauler here. And we're going to stop that work. Yes. Confirm that. We're also going to stop the work on the Awesome. Any moment now, RogueTech. There we go. On the Awesome. As well as on the Salamander. Okay. So we'll stop work on the Salamander as well. So all 3 of those are going to need internal work. And anything else that might need internal work, the through armor was on the Awesome, so I think it's fine. We're going to need to refit the Mauler here. This is mostly just going to need a repair button, a maxing of armor, and redoing the cockpit. It shouldn't take too long. So repair all. Max the armor. Although we might have to manually max it because we're running Heavy Pharaoh. Yeah. So we're going to manually max out this armor as best we can. Okay. It's most important that we get maxed out in these torsos, of course. And then we'll max out the legs from there. Okay. There we go. How much tonnage can we actually get in this? The Awesome was underweight, wasn't it? So I think we can actually full-on max this. If only the max armor button actually worked. But alas, it does not. Yeah, we have a 1/4 ton remaining. Okay, so we lost our cockpit, we lost our sensors, and we lost our Gauss Sniper FCS. So that's fine. I'm not too concerned about putting a heat exchanger in here. I think it's fine as is. This mech doesn't have huge overheat issues. Okay, so we're going to want... I should probably just do it this way. We're going to want to put in a cockpit. We could put in a clan cockpit like we had before. We can just replace that. And then for the sensors, we do have a clan sensor that we can replace. There's also the tracker, which would give us better accuracy at long and extreme range, which I think is actually probably better for us here. So we're going to take that, and then we're going to check for the FCS. This is where I think we might run into some problems. Do Gauss rifles count as ballistic? I mean, this is a ballistic hardpoint. It should. So we could run a ballistic accuracy FCS instead of the Gauss sniper. And I think that'll do. So we'll call that good. That will, of course, take 25 days. That's fine. And 200,000 C-bills. We're completely okay on the C-bill front. We made a lot of money with the last mission, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and confirm this, and as soon as it loads in, we'll do the awesome next. The awesome will need even less. All we need here is to max out the armor and repair the internal structure and the hip, if I recall correctly. Yes, and replace these 2 double heat sinks. So that's not too bad. We'll max out the armor, open up the double heat sinks here. So we want just inner sphere double heat sinks. We've got plenty of them. And then, of course, we are 0.125 tons remaining here. So this looks fine. Good as is. Okay. So all we need now is the salamander. And that's just basically replace the armor, replace the one arm, and replace the... I think there was a double heatsink in that arm.
I'll let you know when that's done.
Let's see what we've got here. The double heatsink in this arm is not too bad to replace. It was actually in this torso. Okay, so that means that this was through armor. It's slightly surprising, but sure. What did we lose? Why are we at 9 tons remaining here? From just losing... Oh, it's the armor. I'm an idiot. Okay, so we're going to put the 2 heat sinks in, and that was 1 here and 1 here. Right? Oh, clan double heat sinks. Right. That's fine. 1 here and 1 here. There we go. Cool. Max out that armor. And we'll see how maxed it actually gets. Actually, it does fully max it perfectly. This is exactly the way we want it. Beautiful. So we'll confirm that. That'll take 14 days. So we definitely took a lot of damage. There's no doubt about it. Like, this is a ludicrous amount of damage that we took. But overall, our repairs should go somewhat quickly. The Fafnir is going to actually be the longest. 17, 10, 13, actually 12. It rounded, I guess, and 14. So this is going to be a pretty lengthy repair session, but that is something that we will get to next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.